Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and we have an update regarding the Batman Part 2 with Daniel Craig, which of course we said in another video that he apparently has been offered a role. And if he wasn't going to accept the role, the backup plan was Liam Neeson. We've an update regarding that, but we also have possible spoiler details about the plot. We may now know what the plot is. There is a potential spoiler, but if you're hearing about the dents and stuff being in here, I don't think it's that much of a spoiler. But I'll give you a fair warning when we get to that. But let's dive into this, because it starts off, of course, with the Daniel Craig part. So, according to recent production report, the Batman Part 2 is expected to begin shooting on May 29th in London. That's wrong. Apparently, it's next month. Most of the main roles have now been filled, with the exception of Harvey Dent's troubled father, Christopher Dent. And it seems Warner Brothers may be having some trouble finding an actor to play him. This is believed to be the part Brad Pitt was offered prior to Sebastian Stan being cast as Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. And we've since heard that director Matt Reeves is now searching for a slightly older actor to play Harvey's father. Stellan Skarsgård is said to have turned down the offer. And a more recent rumour claimed that Daniel Craig was also offered the role. Now, World of Real is reporting that Craig has also declined the offer. The former 007's reason may not necessarily have anything to do with the script or the payday. However, as he is committed to filming Damien Chazelles, I have no idea how you pronounce the second name, untitled prison set movie alongside Cillian Murphy and Michelle Williams, which is scheduled to begin shooting next month. So it looks like he's passed on the offer basically because of scheduling conflicts. It's like, well, when you're filming this time, can't do it. I'm already committed to this movie. So that sounds like why he's passed on it. But now it doesn't say anything in here about this, but apparently, as I said, the other name being floated about if Daniel Craig couldn't do it was that they were going to approach Liam Neeson. Whether or not that happens or whether or not that was even true, we don't know yet. I suppose now that Daniel Craig has officially had to pass on the role, we'll find out. They really do need to find someone quickly though. That is the thing. You know, the fact that if they are to start production next month, you really do need to find them. Of course, it also depends on how big the role is. But either way, so now we've the possible spoilers for what the story may be regarding this movie. Again, with all the rumors doing the rounds on who people are playing and stuff like that, this shouldn't be much of a surprise. But if you don't want to know anything about the possible plot of the movie, I suppose now would be the time to click away. So cheers for being here and all that good stuff. Other than that, possible spoilers ahead. By the way, it's more possible spoilers for the comic books. Not like movies or anything, but for comic books. So let's dive into it. So World of Real has also heard that the sequel's plot involves District Attorney Harvey Dent, Commissioner James Gordon, and Batman forming an uneasy alliance to bring down a serial killer and the city's entranced mafia power. Now, if you've already heard that and you know the story we're talking about, you've probably clicked it already, but here it comes. If you're a DC Comics fan, you'll likely be aware that this is the premise of The Long Halloween, which also influenced elements of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. If this is accurate, it may confirm that the mysterious second villain we've been hearing about will indeed be a version of the Holiday Killer. Will Holiday turn out to be Scarlett Johansson's Gilda Dent, or will they go with a different character? But that is the thing. If they are adapting The Long Halloween, then Gilda has to be the Holiday Killer, because that's who Holiday was in the story. So it wouldn't make sense to change that. Of course, unless they're going to do the flip-flop, because there's the other rumors that she will actually be Two-Face. Could they go in a direction that she actually becomes Two-Face, but Harvey becomes the Holiday Killer? It would make no sense, but other than that, that does seem to be kind of where they're going. So Reeves has previously dropped a few hints about the villain Batman will be facing off against in the movie, describing the mysterious antagonist as someone who has never really been done in a movie before. There's a good chance he was referring to Johansson's character here. However, the thing you have to kind of take into account is what he says, never really been done before in a movie. That's an interesting statement. That it has never been done in a movie. Never really been done in a movie. So that's kind of where you're like, that's an unusual statement to make. So the filmmaker said in a recent interview, because of what the first movie was and what the Batman Part 2 is, which is so much a detective story, the idea of trying to protect the secrets of the movie is super important because it's a mystery. And we know all the rest because he said that before. So the writer, Mattson, was recently asked for an update on the sequel by a fan on X, where he said, "We worked exceptionally hard to tell a story worthy of the character, something that feels new and dangerous. The bar couldn't be higher. Looking forward to people seeing it and being able to talk about it at length. We did our actual literal pushed beyond the limits best." We heard that as well being talked about. So, of course, the Batman Part 2 is set to hit theaters October 1st of 2027. So, is the holiday killer going to actually be who we're looking at in this movie? It's starting to look very likely. Of course, he's also saying someone who's never really been done before in the movies. One of those characters, obviously, and was being set up in the first Batman was Hush. So, Hush could still be in here. We just don't know. It's the fact that all the dents are being cast leans very heavily into the idea that it's going to be the holiday killer. So, by the way, I don't know really how you would do. You would have to shorten it down so much, which means you're losing so much of the story if you were to try and adapt the Long Halloween. You can't do that movie or story, I should say, in one movie. You really can't. That really would have to be a trilogy because like they only kill on holidays. So Christmas, Valentine's, St. Patrick's Day, stuff like that, Christmas, obviously, Halloween itself. And it started at Halloween. That's why it was called the Long Halloween. The first murder was at Halloween, and then it ended the following Halloween. And of course, there was all that stuff with the mafia bosses in there, the Falcones and all that stuff in there. Which, of course, you would have to work out what way you're going to structure all of that this time around, being the fact that Penguin basically is now the mob boss of Gotham. He's taken full control. So, that'll be interesting. As for Christopher Dent, the fact that, Daniel Craig has now seemingly passed on it, again, because of the scheduling conflict. Will they actually approach Liam Neeson? Would Liam Neeson want to do it? Would he even be the type to say, look, I've already done Batman. It would be weird to come and do another Batman. Don't know. Who else could they go for? I suppose there's a lot of names out there. It's just a question of who do they have in mind? Who are they looking at? And what do they want from this character? How much of a role does this character have? Those are the type of questions. So we'll wait and see. But that's the story doing the round now, that Daniel Craig has passed on the role of Christopher Dent and that the story looks like it may be adapting the Long Halloween. So, what do you guys think? Would you be interested in seeing the Long Halloween adapted into a movie? Do you agree with me that you can't tell that story across one movie? What do you think about all of it? And who would you pick now that Daniel Craig apparently has turned down the offer, and if Liam Neeson is to be offered it or not? Who would you like to see play Christopher Dent? Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.